In 1963, Santi Mazzarolo set up Alpinestars, and 50 years later, the brand is still going strong with a huge focus in motorsport and technology performance. Some of the world's greatest F1 and MotoGP riders and drivers wear the brand, the likes of Sebastian Vettel, Mark Webber, Romain Grosjean and Kimi Raikkonen in F1, and Marc Marquez, Dani Pedrosa and even Casey Stoner back in the day for MotoGP. The brand has 3 main centres in the world: LA, Italy and Japan, and today we've come to Asolo, just north of Venice, to find out where they do most of their research and development.
Research and development is a very, very important part of what we do as a company. We leave no stone unturned, literally, in trying to find the best solution for new products and to give our athletes, our racers, the ultimate performance. We work at the cutting edge and all the time are looking for the latest technology or the latest performance enhancement for our products, whether that's in racing or for our production products that our customers wear. And we cover a great many technologies. It's not just MotoGP or Formula One. We're doing touring products for people who ride all over the world in all climates, often for hours on end on a bike. They need performance every bit as much as a racer. The same goes for people riding around in the city. We want to give them the best look so that they feel comfortable about riding a bike, but we really want to make them comfortable whether it's raining, it's sunny, and if in the unfortunate event that they come off, that they're well protected. So we have a lot of facilities here. Here in Italy we have our research laboratory. We also have our racing development centre and a good deal of the production development centre focused on individual technologies. We also have a big R&D centre in Los Angeles and a number of design studios around the world as well. And the way we structure that to make sure we're focused is to have specialists in all of the categories working on their individual specialism. So in the auto department, they work specifically with Nomex, whether it's suit technology or working with shoes and gloves. And similarly on the motorcycling side, we've got leather specialists, textile specialists, people who work with Gore for Gore-Tex products, performance underlayers, protection, the list goes on and on and on. So we're celebrating 50 years as well. 1963 was the kick-off year. And now we find ourselves 50 years on with a much bigger brand entity than obviously Santi originally started with. But one of the interesting things about the story of Alpinestars is that he set out with a very strong vision from day one. He had high aspirations. He was very forward-thinking in naming the company Alpinestars, an internationally acceptable name, and in the way he adopted athletes early on to work with, to help with testing of his ideas. And once the likes of Roger da Costa, multi-time world motocross champion, once he began to use the product, it became the strongest possible endorsement, and it snowballed from there. And we run it exactly the same today. We work with the top athletes, be it Jorge Lorenzo, Mark, Dani in MotoGP, or Kimi and Sebastian, Mark and others in Formula One. We rely on these athletes to give us feedback on the technology that we're developing. And that's stood us in good stead all the way through the last 50 years. We've introduced a lot of new technologies, from motorcycle boots originally, for both off-road racing and for road use, all the way through to getting into Formula One in the early 90s. Then we started creating suits for MotoGP and for car racing at the end of the 90s. We introduced a downhill mountain bike program at the highest level in the 2000s. All of that has demanded new specialisms, but also top-level athletes to help us make the products absolutely cutting edge and without compromise. We had a big night in Milan on the 8th of September, the night of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix at Monza. So a lot of people came down from that paddock, but we were joined by athletes and old friends from around the world, all sorts of motorsport disciplines, from our commercial partners, a whole multitude of industry people, a lot of media. Yes, it was a very good night, and an interesting fusion of different backgrounds. We had multi-time Le Mans winners spending a lot of time talking to TT winners, and Mark Webber came down, and a lot of the MotoGP riders, and so a really eclectic mix. But that's typical of Alpinestars. We work with so many of the world's top athletes, now present but also in the past, and a lot of them came. A lot of our really iconic athletes who've been a real part of Alpinestars history. Mark's suits, Marc Marquez's suits, that's ready for the final parts of Mark Webber's suit. Yeah, this is one of Mark's suits.